when China, India, and everybody else around the world doesn't have to make the cuts. Now, it's common sense. Giant taxes on all factories and cars and energy and fuel is going to put a wet blanket on our already sputtering economy. That's common sense. Every study, and you go back to Kennedy cutting taxes by 50% in one bracket, 30% in another, that doubled tax receipts to the federal government in 1961-62. Doubled receipts. That's how you pay off deficits. You freeze or cut spending. See, Reagan didn't do that. Reagan cut taxes so more money came in, but then government ballooned in size and outstripped even the increases in revenue because he let the Congress do that. You got to do both. You got to freeze or cut, but freezing is good enough. You've got to freeze spending, not give trillions more to the bankers who keep the money for themselves and don't even put it into the economy. It's bad enough to take it and devalue the currency, but at least there's some value while they're devaluing it if it actually goes to the public. Because it's the public that ultimately has to pay this back in taxes. We also have to remember that puppets come and go. Puppet Bush got blamed for everything. He was a bad guy, but a puppet, nonetheless, reading off teleprompters. He took the blame for everything. Then the new puppet, Obama, came in, continued the exact same agenda, and now Obama's doing his job, Obama to take responsibility for voter frustration. What did I say in my film a year and a half ago, The Obama Deception? Now more than a year and a half ago. What did I say in Fall of the Republic? Came out about a year ago. I said Obama would be politically destroyed and that he was designed to be politically destroyed. And I said that when he had a 70% approval rating when he first got in office. Because he's birdcage liner. They put the liner in, it gets dirtied by the bird, everybody blames the liner, everybody looks at the birdcage liner, instead of the bird sitting up there on the perch, soiling the paper. Now, it's up to this Tea Party revolution to decide if they're going to be fully co-opted by the rhinos. And we have those internal memos that came out 2 weeks ago and got leaked where the mainline Republicans talked about how they were going to dominate these new Republicans and take control of them. It's up to us as citizens and constituents to continue the awakening and to continue running for office locally and at the state level and federal level, to continue to inject real issues into the debate, just like Ron Paul did in 2007, 2008. So that now he's positioned to run for president at an even higher level and has a real chance of winning. And now people heard about inflation. They heard about dollar devaluation. They heard about CIA drug trafficking because Ron Paul talked about it. That's now positioned, and he's winning most of the major Republican straw polls for president, including the coveted CPAC. That scares the system. This is a major political realignment, not just, oh, we don't like Bill Clinton going after our guns and raising taxes, so we're going to, put a bunch of new Republicans in. That was 15, 16 years ago. This is 2010, not 1994. And the system is scared because people are becoming fully awake to what's going on. And any way you slice it, this is a big victory because watching national ads, listening to local Texas ads, you name it, and seeing ads in other states, the politicians are, I own guns. I got a gun in my boot. Democrats are doing TV ads shooting bullets through the cap and trade bill. They're talking about the New World Order. They're talking about fighting the globalists. They're talking about saving the dollar. They're talking about shutting down the borders. They're talking about cutting taxes. So we've at least force the system to stop trying to suppress the liberty movement and saying it didn't exist and the world government didn't exist and corrupt bankers didn't exist and socialism didn't exist. They can't call us conspiracy theorists anymore. We are the mainstream. The more radical you are, the more you win, unless Harry Reid steals the election from you. Or unless they steal the election from you in Colorado. Clear evidence of fraud in both states. We're going to be covering that. So we're going to talk about where we go from here, the demonization tactics that are going to happen against the Tea Party, and the figurehead, Ron Paul. Gotta love that father-son combo, both medical doctors. We're going to look at all the different races. At least 65 seats are going to get taken. Confirmed 63 right now. Projecting 65 in the House. 8 Senate seats. They don't get the Senate. 10 new Republicans posing as patriots. At least they've got a pose. That's mainlining this info. This is a big, big, big victory. It's all coming up, and we've got a special guest joining us. Stay with us.
In a coming-apart world, you need something to keep it tied together. That something is Atwood Rope, the highest quality rope made in the USA, from exotic braids for military, rescue, arborists, shipyards, tow line, or boating. Quality rope at affordable prices you and your customers can depend on. Find a dealer or shop online at atwoodrope.net. Enter promo code RADIO to receive 100 feet of 550 paracord free with purchase. Atwood Rope, working to keep the world tied together.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Hi, this is Dwayne Daly with Midas Resources Precious Metals Brokers, and my phone number is 800-686-2237, extension 115. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, then perhaps it's time for a change. You have the opportunity to make a change in November by voting, and the opportunity to make a change in your financial security today by calling me, Dwayne Daly. Get the stability and peace of mind that you deserve with gold and silver, a form of wealth protection for 5,000 years. As the inflation pinch becomes tighter and the dollar continues to devalue, while stocks remain iffy at best, stop the bleeding with precious metals. Metals will let you retain your purchasing power, protect your assets, and stop inflation the day you get in. I have many different ways to accomplish this, from metals for possession to IRA rollovers, tax-free, and everything in between. So if you would like to turn your scrambled nest egg into a souffle, call me, Dwayne Daly, at 800-686-2237, extension 115. 800-686-2237, extension 115. If you are ready for a change, please call Dwayne Daly.
I'm concerned about food for my family in the event of an emergency, and I know you are too. Are you ready? Don't wait for an emergency to happen. Put a plan together now with quality dehydrated food from Ready Reserve Foods. For nearly 40 years, Ready Reserve Foods has been in continuous operation, canning the finest in dehydrated foods. Other companies just broker canned foods. Ready Reserve is the manufacturer, controlling quality from start to finish with double enameled cans and nitrogen packing for maximum shelf life. Ready Reserve offers a balanced selection of fruits, vegetables, dairy products, proteins, and grains. Choose from a variety of pre-selected units or order by individual can to customize your own plan. When you purchase from Ready Reserve Foods, you are buying factory direct at wholesale prices. Call today for a free catalog, 1-800-453-2202, or visit ReadyReserveFoods.com. Call 1-800-453-2202. Ready Reserve Foods, factory direct, wholesale pricing.
Global meltdowns, massive unemployment, endless wars, a new currency crisis, financially and morally bankrupt. A great and terrible storm is approaching. So what's the best way to get ready, to get prepared for hard times ahead? Introducing Off the Grid News, a weekly newsletter for independent patriots who want practical advice on how to survive and prosper in an increasingly dangerous world. It's the best way to get a black belt in emergency preparedness, survival skills, and off-the-grid living. Off the Grid News is fiercely independent, all about self-reliance, and packed with helpful information on survival gardening, food preparation, alternative energy, herbal medicines, privacy and security, as well as God, gold, and guns, with absolutely no apologies. And the best part, this $100 a year service is now free of charge for our listeners. That's right, free for our listeners who sign up at offthegridnews.com. That's offthegridnews.com. You can sign up free at offthegridnews.com. offthegridnews.com.
Okay, I've gone over the basics. I want to start drilling down into all of this now. I'm going to just read some headlines that cover the spectrum. Then I'm going to get into, did Harry Reid steal Nevada? And I want to make this a Google search term today. We do this at least once a week. You guys are awesome out there, all the great men and women that take action and enter this term into Google over and over again. Steal Nevada. 2 words. Steal Nevada. And then it'll be the #1 search term, and people will look at this article by Paul Joseph Watson and myself that I'm going to be covering coming up later in the hour. But the search term is Steal Nevada, and that will lead them to Did Harry Reid Steal Nevada? In fact, we could do 2 search terms, Steal Nevada, and then also Reid Steal Nevada. But Steal Nevada, enter that in over and over again, and Reid Steal Nevada. And when we go over this evidence, it's going to blow you away. I know most of you are already aware of what's been happening in the last few weeks, but they did it. I mean, there's no doubt it's a conflict of interest. There's no doubt this stinks to high heaven. So we're going to be covering all of that. Here's just some of the headlines. Republicans capture House in historic wave. Democrats cling to Senate. Fox News and CNN are both projecting 65 seats in the House. 63 have been confirmed, and 8 seats in the Senate, not the 10 needed, because in key Senate races, they clearly stole the elections. Continuing here, Republicans win majority in governorships. The Republicans won the House. The Democrats kept the Senate. The GOP won the tiebreaker, capturing a majority of the nation's governorships. Republicans on Tuesday wrested control of at least 10 state houses from Democrats as they rode an anti-incumbent wave that will give them more than 30 governorships. They also won a bunch of legislatures. Democrats controlled 26 of the 50 state houses before Tuesday's election, and Republicans needed 20 of the 37 contest to seize the majority. They now have 30 governorships. Continuing with the news on that front. Nancy Pelosi ousted as House Speaker. John Boehner waits in the wings. I'm going to be talking more about that later. We don't want John Boehner. Bare minimum, we want Michelle Bachmann. She's better. And a lot better than her is Ron Paul. We need to get a movement going now for Ron Paul as Speaker. Ron Paul as Speaker. Ron Paul as Speaker. He wins the straw polls. He's been there as long as Boehner. Boehner is an acolyte, a minion of Newt Gingrich on record. The guy he put into leadership in '94 when they took the House. We do not want John Boehner. And again, Bachmann may run for leadership post. That's being reported that she may challenge Boehner. Few Democrats survive health care vote. This is from The Hill. Almost every Democrat who was up in this election who voted for the government takeover of health care, not to give people health care, not even socialism, that's bad enough, but basically to rip people off of the insurance companies owned by the banks, almost all of them lost. Continuing, Tancredo loses Colorado governor bid. Constitution Party candidate Tom Tancredo lost his third-party bid to become governor of Colorado last night, even though most pundits believed he would win, and he was ahead in most polls, but he magically lost with 87% of the votes now counted. Very, very suspicious. And that's what Bev Harris of blackboxvoting.org was looking at, was Colorado and Nevada as 2 of the hot spots where she saw evidence of fraud going on. Continuing, shift in Washington stirs economic jitters abroad. That is going to integrate in with this new talking point from MSNBC, CNBC, and others, including CNN, Oberman, Maddow, and others. And we have that clip coming up later. They're saying Rand Paul is going to cause a depression. That's right. It's all his fault. Never been in any political office, not dog catcher, not state legislature, not mayor, not city council, not Easter Bunny, no office. It's all his fault, ladies and gentlemen. See, right as we try to take America back, they're going to go, oh, I guess it is a depression, and it's your fault. It's your fault. So that's coming up. Marijuana legalization measure loses in California. Big victory for the war on drugs and the out-of-control federal government on that front. Continuing with the reports here, Republicans ride voter unrest to control of the House. The biggest Republican sweep in more than 70 years. That out of the Associated Press. We've got the Wall Street Journal. Welcome, Senate conservatives. Remember what voters back home want. Less government and more freedom. Continuing, Boehner wants to shelve health care monstrosity. But knowing the type of Republican he is, he'll give you some other big type of government health care program. No, we want it out of there. We want it gone. Okay? We don't want eugenics, government-controlled health care. Tea Party calls for fiscal sanity in Washington. Here's another report by Kurt Nimmo, Infowars.com. Can establishment candidates tame the Tea Party fire? That is just some of what's coming up. We'll look at the election fraud in Colorado, in Nevada, and other key states, the incredibly crystal clear evidence of that. We'll look at the big Federal Reserve announcement coming up at 1:15 Central today.